With that, then, I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
Excuse me, Secretary Lambert, we made a motion to adjust and adopt an amended agenda, and we have not covered the last item, which was to approve payment of a legal invoice that was presented to the commission by former Chairman Ness on Friday. And in our conversations that you and I had today, you indicated that you were prepared to approve payment of that invoice. So I would like to make a motion that we approve payment of the June 2022 invoice to Freddie Flaherty for their work in the internal legal investigation that was approved by a large majority of this commission.
I will second that motion.
Is there any discussion?
So you keep referring to ongoing discussions, and there were several text messages, but you make it seem like we've been having just routine, very lengthy discussions, and I see texts, and I've been replying to them in mostly short answers. I also did indicate to you that I didn't see any reason why we couldn't put this vote until the next regular meeting, because quite frankly, that matter has absolutely nothing to do with the important matter at hand, which is to get this mountain open and to get this Soulfest event going in order to prevent other legal ramifications that will far outweigh anything that might arise from this particular matter.
Is there any further discussion? There being none, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Commissioner Wood.
No.
Secretary Lambert votes no. Chairman Strang.
I'm confused. You seconded the motion.
For discussion.
Okay, Secretary Lambert, Commissioner Wood, we need to understand this. We voted to engage.
I thought we just called the vote, Mr. Chairman.
But before this proceeds, you need to understand what you are about to do. You are about to default on payment of work that we engaged Attorney Callahan at Freddie Flaherty to do. If you're worried about a lawsuit from Soulfest, you are going to get one from Freddie Flaherty, because this is a significant invoice, and to refuse payment is going to begin a lawsuit. I urge you not to do that. This is an invoice for work that we engaged them to do, they completed. To refuse payment is a default. That will not help our reputation and will only beget more legal costs when we have to defend ourselves against the law.
So, Mr. Chairman, it's my opinion that knowing the amount of this invoice and knowing the enormity of the Soulfest matter, that would be a risk I would be willing to take. And furthermore, I did indicate to you that we would address this matter at a subsequent meeting. So if the vendor can't cool his jets for a bit, well, maybe in the future too, we'll look for somebody else, because we have another attorney that has been providing legal services to Gunstock Mountain basically for free. I do not see the urgency of this at this time, and I stand by my vote. We can revisit it at our next regular meeting.
Okay, you understand that the services are over 30 days since their completion. And we are now, I don't know if default is the correct word, but the invoice is overdue. And if I heard you correctly, you said you would accept the risk of a lawsuit for failure to pay. I'd like that entered into the minutes of the meeting, please.
Chairman Strang, are you prepared to tender your resignation in the next 30 seconds? Or would it be helpful if we took public comment to remind you of why doing so would be the first thing that you've done to adhere to your oath to this mountain?
Secretary Lambert, would you please put into the record that you are willing to accept the risk of a lawsuit from Freddie Flaherty for failure to pay their invoice?
I suppose I would be willing to accept that risk, because quite frankly, if it came down to that, it would be worth the price of opening this mountain. However, I would say that if the bill was unpaid at 30 days, and we had a meeting sometime in August, and we paid such bill, other than interest payment on a late bill, I don't see that me accepting said risk is really risky at all.
Had voted twice to refuse payment, and the first time was when Attorney Callahan was present, so he is aware that the GAC has refused to pay his invoice, and now you are saying the second time that you are refusing to pay.
It's 30 days.
It would be a fair statement saying that
I would remind the chairman that you are now discussing matters that took place in a non-public meeting, so I would advise you stop it right there. And Commissioner Wood has something to add to this.
Chairman Strang, when were we first in receipt of that invoice as a full commission? We know the answer. Can you please give us the answer to my question? Do you intend to tender your resignation, or would you like public comment to assist you in coming to that arrival?
Commissioner Wood, your comments again are out of order. They are not germane to the agenda item we are discussing. And for the record, I was not in receipt of the invoice. Only Chairman Ness was, and he provided it to the Gunstock Commission. I have no idea when he received it. I do know that he provided it to us prior to taking a second vote to refuse payment of that would damage the commission, and I would urge the other commissioners to vote for payment of this. It is a valid invoice for work that we engaged that law firm to do, and I am voting yes to approve that payment. I would urge you to reconsider your no votes before we conclude this agenda item.
The secretary now records that the vote to pay the payments was 2-1 against, so the motion fails. So therefore, at this time, I would move to adjourn this meeting.
Second.
Any discussion?
No discussion on the motion to adjourn. The secretary will call the roll. Commissioner Wood.
Yes.
Secretary Lambert votes yes. Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
this meeting is adjourned, and before you run away on Zoom, you need to resign.
Croc TV.